never smoke the dizzy, but we can always share some ditties. It's just a cup in time. This song doesn't have to run. Life's all of us, not every moment we can be feeling fine. I wanna share a moment, just a second if you will, maybe even a cup of thrill. We could share this performance. It's tea time, come sit with me.
Well, welcome guys, Miss Liz in the house, and tonight I have Maria Gallucci. I think I'm saying it right. If not, I'm going to get her to pronounce her last name. I always hate when I mispronounce names. But we're going to serve you a good, strong cup of tea tonight, and her tea is teaching, empathy, and empowerment. Growing up between two worlds, turning silence into understanding, and helping people feel seen, heard, and valued. That is the tea we are serving in the house tonight. But before we get started, we're going to get everybody over to different platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Lemonade, Clapper, Blue Sky, all those good platforms. Give those a like, follow, subscribe, because these tea times do make a difference for the guests. Give them a follow as well on their platforms. In the description, you'll find all of that good, juicy stuff, so you can follow all these guests and learn more about what they do on their platforms as well. Also, jump over to the podcast apps: Podbean, iHeartRadio, Listen Notes, Deezer, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those good ones. And if I haven't mentioned the ones that you guys know about, Miss Liz is on there. Check those out. But jump over to babyboomers.org. I've been partnered with them about 3 years now. And there's over 50 different podcasts that are over there. So if you want to get featured on different podcasts, or get your books, or get your stories shared, and Miss Liz is not bringing you the flavor that you're looking for, you can always jump over there. I always like to encourage you guys to check out different podcasts and support different colleagues in the podcast world. So check that out, babyboomers.org. There is incredible podcasters over there. So let's get started with disclaimer, and then a beautiful intro, and then we're going to get Maria in here, and we're going to spill some tea and have some fun tonight. Disclaimer for Miss Liz's Tea Time live show. Miss Liz's Tea Time is a global platform dedicating to sharing real-life stories, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations that inspire awareness, healing, and connection. I'm Miss Liz is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment during the live broadcast, please grant StreamYard permission to display your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that all the content brought forward during any Tea Time show is presented in good faith. However, discussions may include opinions, beliefs, and perspectives that do not necessarily represent the views of Miss Liz or the Tea Time platform. Information shared by guests is based on their own experiences and is perceived to be accurate at the given time of airing. All guests, viewers, and participants are responsible for using their own good judgment when considering any action or decision that may relate to these discussions. Some episodes may cover sensitive topics, including but not limited to trauma, abuse, grief, mental health, and other emotionally triggering subjects. Listeners' and viewers' discretion is strongly advised. Tea Time with Miss Liz is an open discussion forum designed to offer insight, inspire awareness, and create connection. It is not a substitute for professional, medical, legal, or therapeutical advice. If you require professional support, please seek assistance from qualified professionals or trusted resources in your area. If you have any questions regarding this disclaimer or the content of the discussion, you are welcome to contact me, aka Miss Liz, directly at bookingmissliz@gmail.com, or check out my link tree, Miss Liz's Tea Time. By choosing to participate in, comment on, or view these live shows, you acknowledge and accept this disclaimer. Your participation is entirely voluntary. I, Miss Liz, welcomes you to join the conversation with an open heart, and if at any time you feel this platform is not right for you, I respect your wishes and decision and welcome you back whenever you are ready. Tea Time with Miss Liz is serving truth and awareness one cup at a time. Well, welcome to Tea Time with Miss Liz, where every story reminds us that healing often begins the moment someone finds the courage to break the silence. Today's guest brings a deeply personal story of resilience, hope, and it takes to transform pain into purpose. Please welcome and join me in welcoming Maria Gallucci, author, speaker, and advocate, whose book, Raised in Silence, shines a compassionate light on the lasting impact of childhood experiences, family dynamics, and the incredible resilience of the human spirit. Maria's journey is one of courage. Through her writing, she opens the door to conversations many people have kept hidden for years, encouraging others to know they are not alone and their healing is always possible. Her story reminds us that while silence may protect us for a season, our voices have the power to bring freedom, understanding, and hope. Today's Tea Time will explore breaking the silence around childhood experiences, healing from the past, finding your voice through storytelling, resilience, hope, and personal transformation, and choosing courage over fear. Maria reminds us that our past may shape us, but it does not have to define the rest of our story. So grab your cup and join us for a heartfelt conversation filled with compassion, courage, and real life tea, truth, experience, and awareness. Let me get Maria in here and spill some tea. Welcome, Maria.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It is a pleasure to have you. So, Maria, let's get into it and let's get to know you a little bit before we get into the book and all of the good, incredible stuff that you've done, because I want to mention a lot of things tonight. I have a full plate on here and I got all my homework all done. So, Maria, tell us who you were as a little girl and who you are now.
So I'm Maria Gallucci, and I'm a Colorado real estate agent. I've been that for 35 years. And so I was raised by, I'm a CODA, which is a child of deaf adults, and I was raised by two deaf parents, and there were 6 of us all hearing siblings in a loud household because my parents couldn't hear us, so we always played around.
I bet you it was pretty noisy, right?
Oh yeah, I told my mom that the only reason why you had 6 kids is because you couldn't hear us.
So growing up with 2 deaf parents, how did that affect your childhood?
I think people often thought growing up with deaf parents, it must have been sad or hard or difficult, but honestly it was a funny household. So my family was loud in all the best ways, and we laughed constantly. And of course there were challenges because we were made fun of a lot because we were different and we were like dubbed to be the outsiders. And so I think interpreting serious conversations at a young age, but there were also like so much love, and I wouldn't change it for the world because it shaped me who I am today.
So Maria, tell us a little bit on who you are today.
So I am a best-selling author of Raised in Silence, and I'm a real estate agent for 35 years. And I cater to the deaf and hard of hearing community, and any community that feels like an outsider or left out, because my motto is to make sure that people feel like they belong in a safe space with someone.
So, Maria, I want to get into your book, and I'm going to pull up the book, and then I want to get into a bunch of other incredible things that you've been doing, because I am honored to have you sit at this table tonight, because you're going to bring so much awareness to a lot of places that many of my listeners might not even know exist out there. So, Maria, I'm going to pull up the book. If you just want to share with the audio listeners what we're looking at.
So that is the cover, and that is actually my son designed that, and the publishing house said that a lot of authors always submit their own covers, and they never accept them because they want to design it themselves. And mine was the first one that they've ever accepted, and that is actually my son on the cover as well. So it says deaf. So this is how you say deaf, from the ear to the mouth, and the rose covering the deaf side is a reminder that hearing one way experience, or like you only hear what one way to experience the world, and when one sense is limited, like being deaf or hard of hearing, the others become stronger. And so that allows people to connect, communicate, and navigate in meaningful ways. So that was the rose. And then the color on the deaf side, on the rose side, is the vibrant colors that represents the richness of the deaf culture, connection, community, and the beauty of the world that is overlooked. And then the eyes hidden is it symbolizes that you can't identify somebody's story just by looking at them. And so that could be deaf, hard of hearing, LGBTQ plus, or living with a disability, or carrying experiences that aren't visible. And so we all have parts of ourselves that the world cannot see. And then the mostly black and white design reflects how many people see the world through a limited view and lens when it comes to inclusion and belonging. And so the color breaking through represents what become possible when we just choose curiosity and understanding and connecting over assumptions. And so we can't assume we know someone's experience or what they're going through just by looking at them.
You know, I'm really glad that you said that, because a lot of people don't know that I wear hearing aids, and you know, just by looking at me. So when I always get my guests to come in a little early, just so that I can make sure that my hearing box is working good, because then I know what the different color lights, right? Is it going through? Is it not going through? I get one red light, one green light, you know. But it's so true, right? We judge what we don't know and what we don't see, right?
Exactly. And
So
I think that a lot of people are afraid of the unknown, and so they're afraid of they're scared of doing something. And so my motto is always just try, because you never know what that can bring, and you never know, one act of kindness a day could completely change that person's path in life.
I like that. Just try. So how old were you when you just tried?
Probably very little, because I had to just try to, because ASL was my first language, so I always had to just try everything.
You know, it's simple things in life that we overlook all the time, right? That we don't pay attention to. So what did you learn more out of life, from the ASL or from speaking?
Well, ASL was my first language. So my mom always said that we learned how to talk through the TV, and then through counseling and stuff. So I've always stuttered my entire life. And so I've always was going through counseling to begin with. So my brothers and sisters just joined me so that we can all learn to speak. And so for me, I think I learned a lot from the deaf culture, because it taught me resilience and empathy, and how to make someone feel valued, and which has always been important to me. And I've always said, like, if someone feels like an outsider, I always tell everybody, don't try to be someone else just to fit in. And because the things that make you different become the things that are always your power, and what you're proud of later. And I always tell everybody that your story has value.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm really honored that you're sitting at my table tonight, Maria. So how did you get from the deaf community to realtor?
So I was 12 years old when I had to help my parents buy their first home, because we went, I just thought I was taking a car ride. So we just went to the title company to close on the first home that they were buying. And they had no interpreter there. So they had no access to their own language. And so, I mean, of course they can read and everything, but just reading something, but actually seeing it or hearing it in your own language is completely different. And so I saw them feeling like isolated and embarrassed too, because they don't know like what they're doing. So even though I didn't know any of the meanings of the paperwork, I jumped in and started interpreting. And then you could tell that it was a weight lifted off of my parents, that someone was actually there to communicate, even though I was little. And so I remember thinking to myself, I will never let anybody feel the way they did that day.
So you've been in this business for 35 years, you said, Maria?
Yes. Yep.
So what has this business taught you about the community, the deaf community?
I think patience, and which I've always had. And so just being raised in the culture has taught me patience and kindness, and to listen, because I feel like a lot of us, especially hearing, don't really listen. But when you're signing and everything, you are talking directly to them. So we're not looking at our phones. We're not doing anything, because you have to look at them. So it taught me to read body language expressions, because that's huge in the ASL language.
Body language is something that many people don't talk about, right? They overlook that a lot. And there's a lot of signs with body language. If somebody's really engaged in the conversation, or they really want to hear what you're saying, And that's why I love doing video. A lot of people said, Miss Liz, why do you do video tea times? And I said, because I want to see if my guests are engaged, if we're having a good conversation, or they're rolling their eyes, twiddling their thumbs, or
writing something, or on the computer,
or looking over there and saying, oh, when's the next question coming? Like,
yeah, or thinking the next thought.
And that's why I love video, because I can see that we're having a connection, right? We're in two different areas as well. So we get to experience in two different areas, and see if the flow is going good, right? And the audience can see if there's a good connection as well between the guest and the host.
Exactly. And I feel like it's more engaging, like even with like meetings, Zoom calls and everything, or it's always better to see, it's always better to have the visual. And even to this day, I can't have a conversation. Well, I can, but it's hard for me to have a conversation with someone wearing sunglasses, because I can't see their emotions and I can't see their like expressions. And so for me, I always have to be like, have eye contact and be very engaging in it.
Maria, do you read lips?
I do, but that is one of the biggest misconceptions of the deaf and hard of hearing community, is that everybody can read lips and they can't. And so I feel like when people are trying to help them at a coffee shop, that they'll just try to either speak louder, which does not help, or like talk more clear, thinking that they can read lips, and not all of them can.
Yeah. And that's one topic that I struggle with, because my kids are like, Mom, I can't read your lips. And I said, some of you won't be able to. And sometimes my lips are really scrunched together. These are all the awareness that I want to bring out through this conversation tonight is, and raising in silence. The silence of not knowing and being aware is what I really want to bring out in this conversation tonight. The title of your book, Raised in Silence, what can people find in that book? And what do you hope the takeaway is from that book?
They can find a lot of tips and and it's not just for the deaf and hard of hearing community. It's for everybody who wants to learn how to communicate better and make somebody feel like they're included and not isolated or left out. And I saw my parents get left out a lot, just because they were different. And so I think that just because someone's different doesn't mean that they need to be less valued. And so I think that my mission is the same. Like, I want people to feel seen, heard, and understood. And in the book, it teaches people to do like that, and it gives a different perspective. And I have a lot of people who are not in the deaf and hard of hearing community tell me that, I loved reading your book, because I've never looked at it in that perspective, and never knew that I was leaving people out by not knowing that I am. And so it teaches how to be more inclusive, and how to make someone feel like they belong in their space.
So in this book, is it your personal story, correct?
Yes, it's got some of my stories in it, but in it, it's more. So it's not a memoir. So it's a book about basically inclusion, awareness, like letting people know if this happens, try to do this. So it's got like keynotes and things like that within it, trying to give like more advice and giving second thoughts, like, well, what if I did this instead, or what if you did this instead of that. So
the what if.
Mm-hmm.
Is that in the book? Is that in the book a lot, Maria?
It's on the back of every chapter. So a chapter goes, and on the back there's keynotes like, have you thought about this perspective? What if you did it this way? How would that make you feel? Like, it would be better to do it this way than that way, because it'd be just trying. Like, if you just try to do it this way versus another way.
So in the back of each chapter, you're giving them the opportunity to look at a different way of life, a different perspective.
Yes. Yep.
I like that. That's different. I really like that. That's the first time I've heard somebody doing that. Making people think.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that makes sense. So everybody's been, and then it's got funny stories, sad stories. So I think it's a book that's will make you laugh, make you cry, and I think at the end will will open your eyes to be like, hey, I've never thought about it like that. Let me try something different.
So how long did this book take to write?
So 15 years in the making. So
So it's a good book, guys.
I had it on my New Year's resolution every single year to finish the book. And so then finally in 2024, going into 2025, I had it on there. And I was thinking, you know what, this is going to be my last year putting it on here. I'm going to have it done this year. And so I just pushed through it, had it edited, and it did all that stuff. And so I even found when I restarted my phone, I had found all my old like stories and things that I was writing. So I just compiled them all and then did the story from there.
So Maria, are you one of those ladies that keeps a lot of notes and little quotes and little things, and then you open it up and you're like, "Ooh, this is..."
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's a good quote. I should have kept that. I should have put that on my mirror.
I always tell my kids, don't look at my notes because I got like thousands of notes, and it'll just confuse you. But
yeah, exactly. And no one can even read my handwriting either, so it's better to type it on the phone. I have the worst handwriting.
Well, we have a couple of questions coming in from a couple of the listeners out here, and I'm going to jump into this one right away. It's Bargain Homes. Did you always know you wanted to work in real estate?
I was a teen mom, and so I already helped my parents with that, and I actually liked the process of that. And so as a teen mom, life moved fast, obviously, because I'm a teen mom and I need to find a job right away. And so I needed work in that. That's how actually I found real estate and financing. So looking back, what felt like survival ended up becoming my purpose. And I've never looked back. I've always loved it.
And the next question we have comes from Rick, and it is, what was the biggest challenge when starting Uptown Realtor Group?
It was the unknown, because you're starting your own brokerage. So I was already a real estate agent for years, and we're all self-employed as it is. But to open up your own brokerage comes with a lot of responsibility, especially when you have agents underneath you and everything. So I think it was the unknown and making sure that I do everything correctly. And is this going to succeed as much as me, myself? But I found out in real estate, it's really not where you are. Where you hang your license. It's the relationships that you build through your clients. So your clients always go to you where you go, and the referrals always go to you. So I think that's what I had to get in my head when opening it. Like, it's going to be okay if I'm not at this company. It's going to be okay to open it because everyone's going to come anyhow.
So is all of so Maria, do all your siblings work in realty, or just you?
Just me, and my sister is my assistant, so she works for me. And then like my daughter is graphic design for real estate.
Oh.
And then my son is photography and interior design. So they are in it in some shape or form.
They're in that creativity, because buying a home and staging a home, that's design right there. Like, you have to make design it to sell it, right? So
exactly. And he's got the eye for that. Like, he's very creative, which I don't. Like, I can tell you if I like something, but I definitely don't have the creativity mind for that. And they both have that. And I'm like, I don't know where you got that. It must have skipped a generation.
Marie, that's one thing we haven't really talked about on Teatime is selling homes and buying homes. What are the biggest misconceptions of that?
I think a lot for sellers, everyone loves their house. And so everyone thinks that their house is the best and is like worth more than it really is. And overpricing a listing is the death of a listing. Like, it's so bad to overprice a listing. And I think that's one of the misconceptions. Oh, we could just drop it. But if you're sitting on the market and you drop it, that looks bad as well. So it's always important to price right. And I think for buyers, I think a lot of them think that they're getting a new build. So during the inspection process and everything, I don't think people realize that a home is a big deal, but it's better than renting because you're not wasting your money on rent as well. And so I think that you just have to look at it in two different perspective, like what you're gaining. And I know it's going to be hard, but you just have to look at all the equity and stuff. So I think that the inspection process is probably the hardest for the buyers.
Maria, how old were you when you bought your first home?
18, right when I was able to. Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I'm 52 and I'm still struggling to buy my first home. I'm very picky. I don't know. It's just, there's just something it's not the right place. It's not the right time. Like, how do you know when it is the right home for you?
So I always tell all my buyers that you have to have your 3 must, both do if they're together. So both people have to have their 3 must. And if the house, because everything can be changed, or everything can be, especially cosmetic and colors and everything.
Yeah.
So for me, if the house has your 3 must, and then your 3 must, or you by yourself, and it has good bones, and you always know. I feel like when you walk into a home, you know, oh my God, I love this house. This is my place. I think everyone does feel like this is their place.
You know, and I always get something from my guests, and Maria, that's what I'm getting from you is I didn't know about the 3 musts. So what are the 3 musts?
So for me, it's an open kitchen. So because like I grew up, you have to have a deaf friendly home, and I know that about my deaf and hard of hearing clients. And growing up, I always had a deaf friendly home, and that means that the kitchen is opened up to the living room or dining room, so you can sign to them while they're entertaining or cooking. And so that one was mine. I definitely need a big closet, and I like a master bath. What would your 3 must be?
Master bathrooms are one of my big things. I just need a beautiful bathroom. I don't know why. It's probably because I love bubble baths and I like to spend a lot of time. Yeah. So it's a big must for me. We have a comment here that I just want to read out to you, and it's, I've already added raised and silence to my reading list. Well, thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
We have a question here from Bargain Homes. Is how did being a CODA shape the person you are today?
It made me resilient, and it taught me communication skills. And I think that's so important as a human to like have the correct communication skills and to listen. And so for me, it's taught me empathy, resilience, and understanding and patience, because you do have to have patience with that. And so for me, I think it shaped me to be a better person. I have the softest heart ever. And so I don't know if that's good or bad, but so for me, it shaped me to be a better listener and a better communicator.
Absolutely. Well, I want to get into your T, because your T is teaching empathy and empowerment, but we want to go into the deeper T. So the deeper T that you gave me was growing up between 2 worlds. That's the first part of your T. So share a little bit about that.
So I think for me, I grew up with the deaf and hard of hearing world, and I had to bridge the gap between the hearing world. And so at home, I would feel like I'm in my deaf culture, and so I'm in like my spot and my place. And then when I go out there, I was just somebody who was trying to fit in, because for me, I didn't really fit into the hearing world because I was always raised with the deaf culture. And so for me, I had to struggle between the two, but the two brought me both that value and the things that I learned today. So it was great because I feel like I got both bonus sides.
And your next part of your T is turning silence into understanding.
That is for listening. Like, I feel like we don't listen. I'm guilty of it too. We're either on our phones, we're thinking of the next question. And I feel like when you sign, you can't do that. And so for me, it's listening for sure. I think that makes you a great communicators. And I feel like even the most loudest like leaders and everything, the people who I feel like are the great listeners have never even heard a single word in their life.
Yeah, because they're too busy speaking and not listening.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the next part of your T is helping people feel seen, heard, and valued.
That for me is very important, and especially my son's gay, so he I saw the struggles he went through, and I feel like the deaf and hard of hearing and the LGBTQ plus communities go hand in hand, because all they want to do is feel like they belong and feel like they can be their authentic self. So for me, I've always wanted to create a safe place for anybody and any culture and anybody who feels like an outsider. So that's always been a huge importance to me.
Well, I think it's time that we all just accept people for who they are and stop trying to change everybody. Like, I feel like this world is just trying to change everybody. Like, oh, you don't fit in the shoebox. Well, you're not part of society. That's so wrong. Like,
exactly, and I agree, and I've seen the struggles that a lot of people have gone through. So, and that's why I've always told my son, like, you be you, and the people who are making fun of you, that is their issue, and trying, and everybody, it always hurts, obviously, when you're made fun of, and but I always told him, I said, you need to be your authentic self, and you deserve to be valued, seen, and heard, and I feel like we need to do better at that.
well, we have a question that just came in, and it is, why is accessible communication so important in real estate and everyday life?
Especially in real estate, because they have to understand what they're doing and what they're signing, and if they don't have the correct access to an interpreter or anything like that, how are they really going to understand what they're signing? So I think that is so important, and especially like even in the workplace and leadership businesses, like that, they'll have sales meeting but not have an interpreter, and they might put like closed captioning on the screen, but that it's different when you have to read, because then you're losing focus because you're trying to read, so you can't really see anybody's expression, than having an interpreter there. So I think that accessibility is huge for that community.
And for people that are looking for interpreters, where can they find them?
In Colorado is PSLI, and Purple Relay, that's a one good, and I think they're nationwide, but there's a lot of different non-profit organization that does that, and now they're covered by the ADA law. So a lot of places now have to provide that and can't charge them for it.
Oh, good to know.
Mm-hmm. A long fight, but we got it.
Right? And this is what I do. I like to get the information out there so people know about it, because there's so much information out there that we do not know because we're too busy with all the gossip and all the speaking that we're not listening and researching and looking, right? I want to talk about some of the incredible charities that you work with, because I've never heard of any of them. And I was just like, whoa, now I want to get them out there. So let's start with Compassion International. How did you find out about them, and what do they do?
So I was actually the founder of that one years ago, before, my son was a baby. And so that was helping kids across the world get water and like sex trafficking. So now it's called the Line Project, which is still around. I'm not on it anymore. We have sold it to them, and they're still thriving and doing amazing.
So they've joined together, Compassion International?
Yeah, it all like combined, yeah.
Because I do have Lions Project down here on my notes.
Oh, yep, yeah. So, and they're still around. It's amazing to see what happened with that. They're really big, and they help so many kids.
And that's what I mean. Like, when I do my homework and I find these things, and I'm just like, why don't I know about this? Why is it that I only find these things out when I have my guest on Teatime? So my listeners are probably like, how does she find this stuff out? Because I do my homework. I want to talk to you about Dove. Tell us a little bit about Dove.
So that one is a deaf overcoming violence through empowerment. And so that is for domestic abuse. And so we help the deaf and hard of hearing people when they're abused, find them homes, and just support them in any way that they can to take them out of an abusive situation.
And we have RMDS, Rocky Mountains Deaf School.
Yeah, so I'm on the board of Rocky Mountain Deaf School, and that's one of the main deaf and hard of hearing schools here in Denver. And so that just has a lot of kids in there who are from the deaf community, which is huge because a lot of deaf kids always feel isolated because some of their parents don't even learn sign. And so they're just always isolated. So having a school that caters to them is huge because they feel like they belong in a community.
And can you tell us a little different the differences between deaf and hard of hearing? Because there's different categories.
There is. So when you're deaf, and they usually the correct way is to say deaf and hard of hearing because they all go together. And so
Yeah.
deaf is profoundly deaf, so you usually can't hear at all. And hard of hearing is you have some hearing or a little hearing, or like half and half. One ear could be deaf and the other one could be hearing. So it's just a different. It's just a different layer of how profound deaf you are.
And the deaf and mute, they can't hear, but they can speak, right?
They usually don't use. We usually don't use that term anymore because I
Okay.
think that was like past and like long time ago. But it's funny because my dad never really spoke. I probably heard him talk. Probably on one hand I can count, but my mom always used her voice. So I think
Okay.
that it's just a difference of how they use it, their voices.
So what is the term that we're using now?
Just deaf or hard of hearing.
Deaf and hard hearing. You know, it's always nice to know, and somebody who lives it can speak it. And I love having guests that live the experience and they know the proper terms, because there is terms that sometimes offend people, right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
and the next one I have is the CAD, Colorado Association of Deaf. What is that?
Yes. So that is the CODA Association of Deaf, which is it's big. It's been out in Colorado forever, and so it's just a place where they just it's a huge advocate for the community, and they just have like community functions, fundraisers, and a lot of the times they'll actually collaborate with the Rocky Mountain Deaf School or Dove as well.
And let's get into the ASL at Compass. What is that?
So that is ASL Realty, and I'm in Colorado, so I do all the Colorado, but I also developed a nationwide platform to where if any clients that were outside of Colorado, I find them an agent who speaks ASL.
Oh, cool. See, we're learning so much. Thank you for sharing, Maria, because you know, this is what I want to do is I want to get the information out there. I'm in Canada. So is there any of the organizations that you've mentioned that are global, or are they just US based?
They are mostly US based.
Okay, just for my Canadian listeners and for things out there. Are there any global organizations that my listeners should be checking out?
I don't know. There's so many or organizations around, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. Obviously, they do expand, especially Dove. Like they will try to do like things outside of the U.S., but they're mainly in here because the way that they have their functions and their donations.
Well, thank you so much for that. We have a couple questions here. I'm just going to get them out to you. And this is from Francis. Has one client ever changed the way you view success?
Yes. So for me, it's not the homes that we buy. It's actually helping them and seeing their faces when they actually go into a house or sell their house. And for me, just their experience of understanding what's going on. And so it always makes me feel good having them be happy with their purchase. So for me, it's not the amount of people that I get to buy or sell. For me, it's quality versus quantity.
Is this your first book that you've written, Maria?
It is, yes. Well, 15 years. I mean, I don't know how old I'm going to be if it takes me 15 years.
The next one will take you 10 years and then 5 years. Do you have any plans of writing another book?
It's in the works, like it's in talking, because I was thinking about maybe doing a spinoff to the book about being more like business and people based on how you could be more inclusive in all ways of life.
Well, you wrote the first one, so that's the hard one. The first one is
Yeah,
always the
exactly.
hardest, right? It's almost like selling your first home, right? It's the hardest, and then
I
after
know, exactly. I agree. So if I do write another one, hopefully it'll be easier.
right. So we have a question here from Kobe, and it's what inspired you to create ASL at Compass in addition to ASL Realty?
So they're basically one and the same, but ASL at Compass is like an affinity group within Compass. So if any agents within Compass, because we're the number one brokerage worldwide, and so there's so many of us agents, and so it's a platform where the Compass agents can join to be one of the preferred agents for other states.
And we have another question here from Bargain Home again is what advice would you give young people who want to create more inclusive businesses?
Don't judge, because I feel like we judge too quick, and I feel like I've always taught my kids to put yourself in their perspective. Like, would you want to be made fun of? Would you want to be that? So I've always told them to try to always be kind and do unto others what you would do unto yourself. And it starts with us, and it starts with us teaching our kids those values.
Absolutely. We have to be the example. If we want our kids to be a good example, we have to be a good example.
Yeah, exactly.
How can businesses become more inclusive for deaf and hard of hearing communities?
I think to have accessibility to interpreters and ask them, do you want us to bring an interpreter in? And it's all the ADA. So most likely you might not have to pay for it. And if you do, it's not very expensive, but that would change their world and perspective if somebody brought an interpreter to let's say you're having a sales meeting or a human resource meeting or anything like that, to have an interpreter there changes their whole viewpoint of that company. I mean, it shows a lot that you took the time to bring someone in there to help them.
So Maria, when you're selling a house, do you have a copy of your book?
No, but that's a good idea. I try to put it in the gift baskets and give them our.
It's a good marketing thing, right?
Yeah.
You don't like the house, you might like the book.
Yeah, exactly. Give me a 5-star review.
We have a question here again is what does authentic leadership mean to you today?
Mine is making a safe space for them to feel like they can go to you for anything. And so I think that when you make somebody feel comfortable and make them feel like they belong somewhere, I think that makes them feel like they trust you. And that's very important with leadership, especially.
Absolutely. We have another question here that just came in is how has advocacy influenced your success in business?
I think it shows that I'm there for them and that I'm here to help them, and I will always be on your side.
And what have your clients taught you about trust and communication?
Always be upfront and be truthful, because I think that's the most important thing, because they have to have trust in you, especially when they're making such a big business decision and their whole life decision. They have to feel comfortable with you.
And what does home mean to you today?
Happiness and just like a space where you can be yourself.
So let's get back into the book. So in the book, how many chapters are there? Is it an easy read? What target audience are you going for? I'm just going to pull it up again for all the people that are watching the video. Tell us a little bit more about your book.
It is a very easy read. It's I think 180 pages on the paperback, and then 152 on the Kindle. And then there's also it's on. We have the Kindle audio, paperback, and hardcover. And so it's a very easy read, and it teaches a lot about just being authentic in your own self. And then right now I have it translated. I'm having it translated in Spanish, so there'll be a Spanish version as well.
Awesome. I love how you're giving to different communities and opening it up to a wider audience. Uh, what is the percentage of deaf families in America? Do you know?
There's actually a lot more than a lot of people think, and it's a huge community, and it's a very underserved community. So for deaf and the hard of hearing in Colorado alone, just the Front Range is over 300,000, and so there's a lot, and I think that people don't realize how big the community actually is, and that of course is adding the hard of hearing as well.
And that's just in the United States of America.
That's just in Colorado.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's from Fort Collins to Colorado Springs is over 300,000. I think that the last I saw was like 500 or something. So no, it's a huge community, all
wow.
across the United States and the world. Like it's a really big community, and I think people don't realize how large it actually is.
Wow. Well, 300,000 just on Colorado. Like that's
Yeah.
like I thought that was all the United States, and I was like, that's pretty
Oh
large
no,
too. But we're
it's just
probably going into millions, right?
yeah. Oh yeah. For sure, it'd be in the millions.
Well, I have some lightning bolt questions here for you, and then we're going to get back into a little bit of the childhood experiences and that you experienced growing up. Coffee or tea?
I like coffee in the morning and tea at night.
Oh, so she's both.
So
Mountains or beach?
beach, but I don't get in the ocean. I'm terrified of the little critters.
Right? You just don't know what's in that water.
I know,
It's beautiful, but yeah, they bite.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things with teeth
I know.
in the water.
Exactly. I'll look at it.
Sign language or spoken language? What has taught you the most in life?
I think sign language because it taught me how to be more aware and to be more and to be a better listener and to be inclusive. Where I think we're taught that as hearing, but when you're in a community that is left out and isolated, I think that teaches you more lessons.
One lesson your parents taught you at a young age?
To always be kind.
What inspires your everyday?
I think making people happy and to make sense, someone feel like they're loved.
And your favorite color is pink. Why?
I love pink. I don't know. I just have always loved pink.
Is
I
it
like
pink
the
flowers? Is it pink in your clothes? What draws you to pink?
It's funny that I always wear like black or dark clothes. I don't really use pink, which is odd, but I love like pink flowers, a pink pen, pink on my cover. Like I just love pink.
When you were a little girl, what was your favorite color? Was it pink or did it change as you got older?
When I was a little, I think it was yellow. I used to like yellow. Yeah, growing up. And then of course I love black, but that's because I love wearing black because I think it complements my hair.
So let's talk a little bit about your childhood experiences that you've experienced that people will find in the book and that you would like to share today with the audience.
I think that when I was, I think it's helping like in interpreting for my parents because I had to interpret, which was a hard part of my life when I was younger, that I had to interpret my mom's terminal cancer diagnosis. So that for me, so I'm just glad that a lot of the accessibility has like changed. Like we've come a long way from when I had to tell my mom that she was going to be pass away between 1 and 3 months. So I think that I hope that people, especially with my experience in my book, walk away with the like thinking that communication isn't one size fits all, because I feel like we all experience the world differently, especially as a child. So I think that when we slow down and meet people where they are, I think that amazing things can happen. I think as a child that taught me that.
And how have you found your voice through storytelling?
Well, through storytelling, I always stutter. So I still stutter when I tell stories. And so I think it feels good to tell somebody different stories about your life, because that makes them feel like that they're open to tell you their stories. So I think that just opens up a good communication and connection aspect.
And Maria, how have you chose courage over fear in your life?
I just try to think that fear isn't going to shape who I am, and if you don't ever try, then you can never get to the next steps. And all of us have failures, but if you're just trying, at least you made the effort to do the next step, and you can say to yourself, well, at least I tried it. And so for me, I think that's what keeps me trying different things.
There's probably a storm coming, so we have some glitches. Can you?
Yeah, I can. I think it's a little bit frozen, but I can still.
Can you hear me, Maria?
Yep, I can hear you. These darn storms, we're getting a
Well, I want to talk to you about you're an advocate, but you're also a speaker. So, yeah, we got a thunderstorm outside our window here, so it's probably the storms that are acting up. You're also a speaker, so can you share any of your speaking events that you do, or where people can find you to have you as a speaker in that as well?
So I've spoken to the Hearing Loss Association of America, and then some of the libraries, and then so I speak at different events to make people feel like they can be included. And for the real estate, they can find me on galluccihomes.com, and for the book, it's raisedinsilence.com.
Do you have any events that are coming up that we should know about?
I have a Boulder event at the CU campus on their library coming on August 13th at 6 p.m.
At 6 p.m. So anybody that's in that area, go ahead and check it out. I'm just going to see here. The word transform pain into purpose, what does that mean to you?
I think that the challenges in life and the pain that you go through shape who you are today. So I feel like it makes you who you are, and it makes you more resilient. At least it has for me.
Now we have a question about your mom and dad. How does your mom and dad, you said your mom passed away, correct?
Yes. And coincidentally, my dad passed away of the same cancer three years ago. It was melanoma. So it was just a huge coincidence that they died 25 years apart of the same cancer.
Oh, wow. So does the cancer run in the family?
Well, we did a test to see if melanoma was genetic, and it's not. And so it was all coincidence, because my sister had it too. She's fine, but she had it on her calf. So it was all just a fluke coincidence that 3 people have had it.
Wow. So could you tell us a little bit about the Raised in Silence? For the people that are just joining in, they just want to know a little bit more about the cover and all that. So I'm just going to pull it up again, because we just have a couple people that are asking about the cover. So if you just want to share a little bit about the cover again, how you explained what each of the symbols mean. So
sure. So it says deaf. So this says deaf in sign language. So one's on the ear and one's on the mouth. And the rose cut covering the deaf is a reminder that hearing is only one way to experience the world. And so when one sense is limited or gone, the other ones become stronger, allowing people to connect and communicate and navigate through meaningful ways. And so the color on the deaf side is for vibrancy, and it represents the richness of the deaf culture and connection and community, and the beauty of a world that is often overlooked. And then the eyes being hidden is covered for it. It symbolizes that you can't identify somebody's story just by looking at them, whether they're deaf, hard of hearing, LGBTQ plus, or living with a disability, or even carrying experiences that aren't visible to us. And so because we all have parts, obviously, in our own selves that we can't see. And so the black and white concept is it reflects how many people's they see. I think that we all see the world with limited lenses and views when it comes to inclusion and belonging. And so the color breaking through represents what becomes possible when we choose curiosity, understanding, and connection over assuming or assumptions. And so I feel like we can't assume we know someone's experience just by looking at them.
Yeah. And it's like looking at the cover, right? When you look at the cover of a book, it tells a story, and I love how your book brings us onto a journey as well of understanding, not just opening and saying, oh, it's a pretty cover. There's a story within the cover. And I love that your son made the cover. So how did you feel when the book was released? And because it's your first book, it took you quite a while. But I mean, how did you feel once it was published?
It was amazing and surreal, I would think. And sometimes it just still has to hit me. But Rian said to me, he goes, it's so weird to see my face everywhere because his face is everywhere now. So I'm like, yeah, everybody loves the cover. It's so good.
It does. It has a strong but a soft impact to it when you look at it. When you look at the individual's pieces of the story, it makes you open your eyes to see and look deeper within. So if anybody wanted to grab this book, where could they find this book?
It's on Amazon and every book platform. And then you can also go to raisedinsilence.com and it has all the links on there as well.
So Maria, what would your final message be to all the listeners tonight about community and awareness and all of that stuff?
I think just be kind and have more empathy towards other people because you don't know what they're going through. And I think that literally one act of kindness or one gesture can really take somebody on a different path in life because you don't know what they're going through.
So Maria, if you could just spell out your website and all that, I'm going to put both of them up. So the first one we're going to start with is the Raised in Silence. If you just want to spell it out for the audio listeners.
So RAISEINSILENCE.com.
And the other one?
And so it's galluccihomes.com. So it's GALLUCCIHOMES.com.
Gallucci. So I wasn't even saying your last name properly. I was just like, oh my God, I'm butchering this. I am so bad at saying last names. And this is why, guys, I'll just call everybody the first name. I'll just...
Exactly,
Some names are hard to say. And my tongue just doesn't go because of the hearing loss that I have, Maria. Letters, I can't pronounce certain letters. I can't pronounce certain sounds. So I struggle with that. But thank you for telling me how to say Gallucci. That's so simple, right?
Yeah. I know, but it doesn't look like that's how you say it, though. That's the difference. I remember the solicitation or the calls that you get a long time ago on our rotary phones. People trying to sell stuff. They used to always say it wrong. I'm thinking Gallucci.
Well, they always call me Ghanaian. Like I'm a Ghanaian. Yeah. Like I'm just like, what? Ghanaian? I'm a Ghanaian. I'm not a Ghanaian, but
right.
Well, I want to thank you, Maria, for sitting and sharing your story and sharing the awareness of the communities and that, and for all of the work that you do and the organizations that you work with, charities that you work with. Thank you so much, because without you coming to my table, I would not know about these, and my listeners would not know about these incredible places. So check these places out that we've mentioned tonight on Teatime. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for bringing your questions. I'm just going to do a quick recap of what tonight's Teatime was, and we'll be back next week and we'll do this all over again. Remember that some Mondays and some Fridays there are Teatime, so pay attention. Miss Liz is bouncing all over so that you guys stay on your toes and you stay engaged with the guests that are coming. So what a powerful and heartfelt conversation we've shared tonight. Maria, thank you for bringing your courage, honesty, and compassion to the Teatime table. Your willingness to share your story reminds us that healing often begins when someone is brave enough to say, this happened and I am still here. Today, we explored resilience, childhood experiences, healing, forgiveness, self discovery, and the strength it takes to reclaim your voice after years of silence. One of the strongest takeaways from tonight's conversation is this: silence may hide pain, but truth creates the opportunity for healing. Through Raised in Silence, you've shown us that our experiences do not diminish our worth. Instead, they can become the very foundation from which we grow stronger, wiser, and more compassionate towards ourselves and others. You also reminded us that the healing is not about erasing the past, it is about refusing to let the past write the rest of our future. As we close tonight's tea time, I leave everybody with this thought: what part of your story have you been afraid to acknowledge, and what part becomes possible if you allow yourself to take the first step towards healing? Because your voice matters, your story matters, and your journey may become the hope someone else has been searching for. Thank you, Maria, for reminding us that there is strength in vulnerability and that even after silence, hope can still be found. Until next time, keep speaking your truth, keep coaching, healing, and keep serving real life tea one conversation at a time. And tonight's takeaway is your story does not end with the pain you have experienced. It continues with the courage to heal, the strength to speak, and the hope to help others know they are never alone. And I'll see everybody next week, and we'll do this all over again.
Thank you.